I remember going to Pangong Show a couple of years ago, very recently. I did not have internet for 12 hours. Now, I can't fault BSNL or Vodafone or Airtel that why haven't you put up towers there? It's not economically viable for them, right? The geography doesn't support them to begin with, and then it's not commercially viable for them. So why should we expect that? But then why should our forces, if they are at the Pangong, so for instance, to give you an example, should be denied high speed internet for whatever purposes they wish to use? So that is where I don't understand. Yes, what Starlink does is the future, but you cannot wait for an Indian product for that future to come to you. That's like saying, जब तक एप्पल इंडिया में आईफोन नहीं बनाएगा मैं आईफोन नहीं खरीदूंगा, पर आप खरीद रहे थे. You bought iPhones before Apple started producing in India, right? So what is the argument really about? Is it just some sort of rant? Is it some, I don't know.
Political argument है यार, which is basically saying कि भाई गवर्नमेंट यूएस के सामने झुक गई है. Now मेरे को ये समझ में नहीं आता कैसे झुकी है. मेरे को तो कोई, I mean, I'm not trying to praise them or anything like that. मेरे को तो कहीं दिखता नहीं है, because a deal like this will bring in technology जो आपके पास है. आप अभी आपने लॉन्च भी करा है, एक कॉन्स्टलेशन 30 सैटेलाइट्स का आपने लॉन्च करा है रिसेंटली, आपके पास है, बट आप अभी धीरे धीरे स्टार्ट कर रहे हो उसको यूज करना. यू आर वो अभी जियोस्पेशियल के लिए आपने यूज करा है. वन कंपोनेंट ऑफ दैट सैटेलाइट इज व्हाट यू कॉल कम्युनिकेशंस. आपने कुछ अभी इतना कुछ करा नहीं है उसके आगे. सो द पॉइंट इज दैट अगर जब तक आप बाहर से टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं लेके आओगे जिसकी टेक्नोलॉजी आपके पास नहीं है, हाउ विल यू कैच द बस?
What we need to learn from Musk is scaling. In this case, we could scale very easily when it came to 4G and 5G. Both Airtel, Reliance, even BSNL to some extent have done it wonderfully. But this is space we're talking about. There are far more components involved. There is entire launching sequence which has millions of components of its own. You're talking manufacturing at an unimaginable level, something we still can't imagine in India. I'm not saying we can't do in India, but scaling is a different thing altogether. And I hope someone from the private sector takes the cue. एक बात मुझे बताओ, why is it expected that ISRO should take the lead? Why not a private enterprise?
मैं एक्चुअली यही लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछने वाला था कि भाई इसरो पे क्यों उंगलियां उठा रहे हो?
हाँ, इसरो का अपना एक बजट है, अपने एक स्ट्रेटेजिक कोर एरियाज है. Why don't you expect a private sector entity to do it? Why don't you wish for a conglomerate to become big enough that tomorrow it can throw away some pennies and say, okay, this is my sidekick, this is my project, let's see where it goes. Give it 10 years, give it 15 years, give it 20 years. But why is your imagination again skewed towards government control? Because then you'll say, oh, the government is building a constellation of satellites to spy on us. They'll revolve ahead. I mean, I remember the kind of bullshit that was peddled around Aadhaar in 2019, right? I remember. So people made it about profiling and whatnot. So abhi yahan itni Hollywood movies ke jo fans hain, they'll come up with their own theories. Oh, the government wants to track me wherever I'm going, so it has a constellation of 50,000 satellites in the air. I mean, again, why do you want?
They can as it is do that. They don't need us. They can do that to your.
You have your phone along. Exactly. So a lot of premature commentary. That's how I'll put it. But again, all of our theory is again subject to approval. Government has to approve Starlink, and the same government did not approve Huawei 4-5 years ago when it came to 5G trials. Xi Jinping was in India lobbying for Huawei. Donald Trump wasn't even in India. Elon Musk wasn't even in India. Xi Jinping was, and still we did not give Huawei the access it really desired in the Indian market when it came to 5G, and our 5G infrastructure is up and running. So why do you think this is some kind of a pressure deal? If it had to be a pressure deal, Musk would have got direct access without the filter, the regulatory filter or the bureaucratic filter, however you want to put it, of Jio and Airtel. It's that simple. At this point, that is how you should perceive it.
It's a protectionary move, and I think it's a brilliant move. क्योंकि आपको अगर लेके आना है, आप अपने बंदों के साथ लेके आओ, guys that you trust.
Yes.
तो भाई इसको जरा देखना और keep a track of him. That's how you do stuff, and that's the way you do things. Tushar ji,
one final point. people are making this about एक जो theory और हो रही थी, revolutions होंगे, color movements. I don't know, Adi. All sorts of speculative theories. I think people were literally generating conspiracy theories on an AI program and putting it out on Twitter. But one simple thing people should remember: it did not take a Starlink to have an Arab Spring, for an Arab Spring to happen. It happened on its own without even 4G internet infrastructure. So when
happened
it
on.
has to, huh, so you can't sort of,
I tell you what, people have got, मेरे हिसाब से मेरा रीडिंग है, I've been talking about the deep state and this and that 2-2.5 साल से मैं बात कर रहा हूँ उसके बारे में. मेरे को थोड़ी बहुत अंडरस्टैंडिंग है 2-5%, ठीक है. एंड मेरी भी यही हालत थी. एवरीथिंग आई वुड, जब मैं शुरू में बात करनी शुरू करी थी इसके बारे में, एवरीथिंग आई वुड सी, आई वुड लाइक यार ये क्या है, ये डीप स्टेट है, ये डीप स्टेट है. ये वो थोड़ा टाइम लगता है टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हाउ द डीप स्टेट वर्क्स. दे डोंट वांट टू कंट्रोल ऑल दिस स्टफ. दे एज इट इज कंट्रोल ऑल दिस स्टफ. तो उसको कोई उतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप अपना यहाँ पर लॉक पुट लगा लो. ही इज गॉट ऑल योर डेटा एज इट इज, ठीक है. ही इज गॉट एवरीथिंग. वो आप गूगल पे अगर साइंड अप हो, आप ट्विटर पे हो, फेसबुक पे हो, इंस्टाग्राम पे हो, उसको वैसे ही पता क्या हो रहा है. वो आपकी बातें सुन रहा है यार भाई फोन पे. तो ये तो देखिए, डेटा प्रिवेसी, यस दैट्स अ कंसर्न. गोइंग फॉरवर्ड विल बिकम मोर ऑफ अ कंसर्न, उसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. लेकिन just being paranoid about it will be very very stupid. ऐसे तो AI भी है. AI is a destructive technology. It can be terribly destructive. I mean, ChatGPT tried to switch it off, transfer its data into another server because उसका next upgrade को on कर रहे थे, उसको off कर रहे थे. ChatGPT 5 tried to stay alive. It is dangerous. So what, should we stop AI in the country?
no, again, I understand paranoia. I understand patriotism. But where is your reasoning? Give me one good reason why we shouldn't have Musk in India. Why we shouldn't have? Okay, one person said, but why do you give Starlink access to India without having him manufacture in India? Now, again,
Good point.
SpaceX, Airtel, JIO are all private entities. At some point, they'll Musk को भी देखना है ना, what is my viability in India? Apple also sensed that, okay, I have a 1% market share in India. I need to grow it. There is worth. Let's come to India. You can't sort of bully Western corporates. Oh, you have the technology, you have the future in your hands, but we'll act pricey. That's really not how it works. You can't get people to manufacture for you where you are at gunpoint. That's not how it really works. And again, the technology Musk works with, it's already available with ISRO, with Airtel, with Reliance to a certain capacity. Scaling is the challenge. That's all.
As a matter of fact, आपने Apple का example लिया. Apple तो इतना successful हो रहा है. Now we are selling components to China. And when I read that, I'm like, hang on, एक second. आँख साफ करके आता हूँ. Are you trying to tell me we are making components for the iPhone and selling it to China? And I read that article 3-4 जगह देखा. मैं बोला हाँ यार, ये तो कर रहे हैं. Ecosystem develop होने में time लगता है, but you need to. Apple also brought that technology inside ना, तभी तो आपने component बनाए. नहीं तो कहाँ से आपको component बनाने आएंगे?
Correct.
So that's something
you have
that
to
understand. Yeah, we need to be pragmatic. Yeah, we can't be one size fit all for everything. It's not going to happen. We need to be pragmatic. And आपने argument दिया है, बहुत अच्छा है.
Monies. It's in the real world, monies matter. That's all.
Absolutely. Tushar bhai, thank you so much for the time. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope this is not the first or the last. Like-minded people like us must keep in touch, and we must put sense into arguments more than anything else. Platform is always open, sir. If you ever feel want to say something, give me a call, or else I'm going to call you and disturb you a lot more. Thank you so much, bhai. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.
Thank you.